Johnny Nansen has moved on to the University of Texas. It's an odd situation because it's essentially kind of it's a little bit of a job demotion in that he's not going to be calling plays. He did a really nice job this last year here at the U of A. Sheer, what were your initial thoughts?
I mean, yeah, look, I know he's probably going to make more money and it's Texas, but it's a demotion. I mean, he's not calling plays. I think that was the biggest surprise of the whole thing, is that basically he was willing to give up play calling and try to advance his career in that manner versus Arizona, where he's probably 1 year away from being a head coaching candidate somewhere.
All right, now I'm of the belief, all the people here that are super upset about this, again, this isn't saying something after the person's out the door. That's generally what Shearer does when he kicks them when they leave the room. But Dwayne Akina, to me, is the easy hire. Dwayne Akina, listen, you watch 1 year with Johnny Nansen, and year one, this was one of the worst defenses in college football. Now, granted, his first year in the system, Dwayne Akina comes in, and this is not just some analyst. He was incredibly active in practice and games, going up and down the field. Dwayne Akina, to me, is an easy choice. You hire him as the defensive coordinator. You bring in a co-DC to recruiter, and, he'll be the defensive coordinator, emeritus and waiting, blah, blah, blah. This is the easy one. You got a genius on the staff. It's go for broke time. Dwayne Akina, buddy.
Yeah, I don't. Do you remember? I'm trying to think. Do you remember why Dwayne Akina was demoted at Texas? Was there like a reason behind that?
That I don't know.
And that was like the only time he called plays. He never called plays at Stanford. That's the one thing that I find weird, is that I like Akina. I don't disagree with you, but he's called plays for what, like 2 years?
He called plays at Arizona.
Yeah, but that was in 1990s. What was that? You know what I mean? No, I think it depends. Look, I like Akina, and I have no issue with him calling plays, but I think even you would agree that if they go that route, they need to bring in a young, aggressive recruiter.
Yeah, no, I'm totally cool with that. Cool with that. But like I said, that to me, and let's talk about Akina here for a second, because he was really, you noticed Dwayne Akina at practice. You noticed Dwayne Akina with the way that he interacted with the players, the way that he interacted with the coaching staff. And let's be honest, the defense looked fragmented in that first year under Johnny Nansen. It never felt like the defensive backs and the linebackers and the down linemen were all on the same page. This past year, it felt like they were all on the same page.
It's funny because now that he's gone, I could tell this story. We went to practice one day, me and a couple of reporters, and Johnny was there, and we asked Johnny, we straight up said, why is the defense so much better? And he goes, well, it's the players. He goes, we just have better players. And it's like, not like in a lot of that in college football, that's the key. Like, you have better players, and they brought in Akina, and he helped a lot, obviously. There's been rumors the last season that Akina has had a major hand in helping Johnny. And look, like, I don't think Johnny all of a sudden became some super defensive coordinator in a year. Like, this is still the same guy that everyone wanted fired after his first year, whatever. He got better players. And as long as you surround whoever, even if it's Akina, if you surround him with good players, he's generally going to do well. If you hire a new guy, they're generally going to do well. I think for the continuity of it, I think there's a lot of value in that, and that's where Akina comes in as well.
Yeah, and with Akina, the other thing I think you need to look at is that they stopped the DBs. Look at the DBs for a second. Akina, if you look at Akina's resume, he's probably as good a defensive backs coach as there is in college football history. I mean, you've coached 3 Thorpe Award winners, something like 19 first-round picks, all of that stuff. I mean, he knows what he's doing. But you know what you also noticed about the defense? When Nansen's first year, the ASU game felt like it was every single game, where it was Marcel Yates 2.0, where we're giving up 15 yards. Just only give them 15 yards, and then hopefully we can force a turnover or something. That all stopped once Akina took over, or Akina came in.
I looked it up, by the way, and this isn't a shot at Akina. I was just wondering. So he was fired in 2007. Their defense was awful. You're going to laugh. His co-defensive coordinator, who also resigned, was Larry McDuff.
Yeah, Arizona, baby.
And so, but to be fair to Dwayne Akina, his replacement was Will Muschamp. So
yeah, all right. Well, either way, I don't. But all I'm saying is this: you hire Dwayne Akina. Next year is a go for broke year for Arizona. Everybody says, well, what about what about next year and all, or what about a continuity and this and that. All I care about is next year. And because if you get 2 straight 10-win seasons or 2 straight back-to-back really, really good seasons, which Arizona has never had in the past, then it becomes, if Jedd Fisch were to leave, definitely don't want that to happen, but if Jedd Fisch were to leave, then it becomes, I think, a little bit easier to look at and say, all right, well, you just had 2 straight 10-win seasons here. It can be done at the U of A.
I think we all need to be honest with ourselves here, right? Like, next year's the go for broke year for everyone. Right. In Jedd Fisch's career, next year is go for broke. If he gets 10 wins, we all love Arizona football. He's not here for long if he gets 10 wins next season. Let's just be real. Right. And so in Jedd's mind, that's one of the reasons why he probably is anxious. Like, he has told everyone around him, I'm not even talking to you about this hire. This is my hire. And the reason is because if he gets this wrong, his career trajectory changes. Right. And you look at Florida football, that's the dream job. The NFL is the other dream job. Florida's going to open up. Right. But all of a sudden, because that schedule is just ridiculous, all of a sudden, if Jedd Fisch wins 6 games, 7 games, because he makes the wrong hire, right, he's not as attractive for Florida anymore. And
right.
and look, I'm not, I don't want to cause an uproar or whatever, but you bring in a young guy, and that's part of your sell too. Be like, look, if you do a good enough job this year with Dwayne Akina, you're going to be a head coaching candidate,
right?
Like that, or you're going to be a candidate for a promotion, whatever it may be. So it's a whole, and that's just where Arizona football is. And I almost wonder if that's part of the reason why Nanson left, is because he knows that at the end of the day, if Jedd leaves, in his mind, he's not going to be here much longer either. So it's something where, for everyone in the program, next year's the go for broke year. It just
let me ask you this. What if they're competing for a national championship next year, Jason Scheer? You and I have very different opinions on next year's upside. Maybe if you can show that you can compete for a championship, maybe you stay.
Maybe you do. Maybe.